two very special guests, Working Families Party Director Maurice Mitchell and our Working Families Party City Council member, Kendra Brooks.
Good afternoon, Philly. I'm Maurice Mitchell, National Director of the Working Families Party. It's a pleasure to be in community with you. And Philly, what a difference a few years makes. Can I tell you a quick story before we get to today's business? Can I do that? Okay, so when the Working Families Party first started organizing here, there was a machine in power. But it wasn't a people-powered one. It was a machine that served the wealthy and the privileged few. And you all said that that was not good enough, and so did we. So we got to work. We knocked on doors. We made phone calls. We met people where they were, literally at their stoops. And in 2019, we made history with Kendra Brooks when she became the first third-party elected official in the city council in 70 years. Give it up. Give it up. Now, in 2021, you all sent Larry Krasner back to the district attorney's office because you knew addressing the root causes of crime was better than trying to arrest our way to public safety. And this year, we fought like hell to make sure he wasn't impeached by the formerly Republican-controlled State House. Now, on Tuesday, we have another opportunity to make some history when we send Helen to victory in the Democratic mayoral primary. And, yeah, and the work we do through Tuesday's election will send a very loud and clear message to the rest of the country that a progressive agenda, an agenda that prioritizes meeting the needs of the community, is a winning agenda. Now, can I talk a little bit about Helen Gym and the People's Agenda for Philadelphia? Can I do that? Okay, so this is an agenda that invests $10 billion into our public schools so that our children are learning in modern buildings that have heat in the winter and AC in the summer. This is an agenda that knows public safety is more than pumping hundreds of thousands of dollars every year into police and prisons. Instead, investing those dollars into providing jobs for our young people. This is an agenda that invests in mental health, crisis responders, violence interrupters, so that we're no longer reacting to crime after the fact. We're preventing crime before it happens. Now, I'm going to be real with y'all. This is a tight race. And we could leave nothing to chance. Every door knocked, every call made can mean the difference between a win or a loss. And you are not alone here. There are hundreds of folks just like you over the city. We've knocked tens of thousands of doors for Helen, and we're going to keep on knocking until the polls close on Election Day. Now, because business as usual was never good business for us, we're going to fight. And we are in the business of serving the people. So, speaking of people, some candidates in the race decided, I want to be mayor, let me buy my way into office. So they dipped into their savings accounts, their 401ks, and wrote themselves a nice check. Helen decided to run and said, I want to serve the people. So she talked to teachers, to parents, to students, to community leaders, anybody that wanted to make Philadelphia a place where everyone thrives and not just makes ends meet. Now, she walks the walk, literally. Just Friday, Helen was on the picket line with striking workers for fair pay, right? We don't have to question what Helen would do in office. We've seen what she's done. This agenda isn't bought and paid for, it's yours. And when we elect Helen, she will be your mayor. And that's just the first step, because we also plan to surround her with a progressive majority when we send Kendra Brooks back to the city council for another term, when we elect WFP candidate Nicholas O'Rourke to the city council, and Jarrett Smith as commissioner. We're sending Helen to the mayor's office, and our mission after that is simple: Republicans out, working families in. The eyes of the nation are on Philadelphia. This is our time. This is our moment. Let's get it done. And now I have the honor to cede my time to your council member, Ms. Kendra Brooks.
Thank you, everyone. I am so excited to be able to invite our next speaker up. We're welcoming her here to Philadelphia and up on this stage. Before I introduce her, I just want to say a few words about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. When I think about her as a person that brings joy into our movement, the type of joy that movement elections need every single cycle, and the type of joy that we need towards the final stretch of this campaign. For years, I have admired her work and political leadership as a movement leader who has given so many organizers like myself the inspiration and courage to run for office. She has shown us how to gracefully front and shine on our haters. And what am I talking about? When Republican billionaires decided to come for her, each and every time, she smiled and danced her way right back into them halls of Congress. She is someone that shows us that we can lead with our values first. Her leadership brings new people into politics and this political process. And that's why it's so important to have her here today in Philadelphia for our election. Her and Bernie's involvement in this race means that we are reaching voters inspired by them and wanting to get involved in this campaign for Helen Gym for mayor. And when we talk about building multiracial political power, both of them embody this. This movement embodies what it means to be a multiracial movement that's building power each and every election cycle. So, I don't want to prolong this. So I want you to make some noise and welcome to the stage Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Councilwoman Kendra Brooks and Maurice Mitchell. Can we hear it for the WFB? Can we hear it for our artists here today? Cosmo Baker, DJ, Speedy Ortiz, and Neo Wolf? And can we hear it for our labor partners Unite Here, AFSCME DC 47, PFT? I love shouting out labor groups. It's like producer tags on a rap track. It's like DC 47. Anyways, how are y'all doing, Philadelphia? Are y'all ready to elect Helen Gym for mayor of this beautiful city? I know that I sure am. We are in a precious moment in this country. And this election is a tipping point in that. And I want to explain to you a little bit about what that means. We have been having a public debate around safety and investment in the United States of America. And there are people that are trying to lead us to believe that militarized cities all across the country, that defund schools, that defund our public institutions are what keep us safe. However, a growing grassroots movement has been bubbling and growing and blooming across the country that says there is a better way. There is a better way. A movement that says we keep us safe. A movement that says community keeps us safe. Schools keep us safe. Health care for all keeps us safe. That loving the homeless keeps us safe. That standing up and defending our trans and LGBT siblings keep us safe. Helen Gym will keep this city safe. Safe from the scourges of poverty, safe from the injustices of inadequate education, safe from inequity and inequality. That is what public safety is all about. And it's not just because she's rolling up and saying it, it's because she has done it. She is not new to this, she is true to this. This moment is so important because, as we know, when progressives have victories, they always are quick to dismiss it as a flake or an aberration or a mistake, right? But we've had this fight, and we're taking this fight from the West Coast to the East Coast. We started in Los Angeles with Karen Bass winning her victory in the mayor, who also went up against a billionaire trying to buy themselves an election. They may have money, y'all, but we've got the people. We've got the people. So when they went up and dumped tens of millions of dollars in television ads trying to convince us that we should be criminalizing ourselves and our own poverty, the people organized in Los Angeles, and they said, nah, Karen Bass for mayor. And we won that election. And when Karen Bass won, they said, this is nothing to look at. They said, don't look over here. This was just, there's all these other, reasons. Then we went to Chicago, didn't we? Same thing. The moneyed institutions blanketed the airwaves, but you know what the people of Chicago did? The teachers got together, schools got together, hospitals got together, and they said, nope, Brandon Johnson for mayor. And y'all know what you're going to do here in Philadelphia, right? You know what you're going to do here on Tuesday, right? On Tuesday, we are going to make Helen Gym the next mayor of Philadelphia. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. And one of the best things we can do is send that badass mother to be our next mayor of Philadelphia. Isn't that right? I want to talk to you about why. Helen is the daughter of immigrants. She was raised by a mother who worked in food service. Her dad was also raised in extraordinary poverty at the age of 19, and she was raised here. She worked as an elementary school teacher. And when a previous administration was trying to close 23 public schools, she stood up. Helen stood up and said, you know what? We are not going to accept this. And I want to describe why that is so important. Because at that time, Helen was a public school teacher. She was a mom. And so often we see these things happening on TV, or we see these decisions made, and it's easy as an everyday person to feel hopeless and to say, what can I do? As a normal person, what can I do? We all can do something. And that was Helen's moment. When we decide what we will not accept anymore and we get in the game, we start to win. That's what this is about. In 2015, after she started organizing to save these public schools, in 2015, Helen decided to run, and she became the first Asian American to serve in the Philadelphia City Council. She made history. She ran on an ambitious agenda, the kind that people always say, that's nice. That's naive, but it's nice, right? But she wouldn't take no for an answer. She insisted in the city council, she passed Fair Work Week legislation. So now you all in Philadelphia, thanks to much of Helen's work, have the nation's strongest mandate for stable schedules for 130,000 low-wage workers. Helen did that. She created the first city fund for homeless youth. She has led protections for trans kids in schools, especially now in a time when our communities are under attack. And she's not doing this now. She started doing this work years ago. Years ago. You know, that first race that Helen was elected in was a squeaker. She won by, I think, about 1,000 votes. But what happens is that when you run on an ambitious agenda and you work and you fight and you start delivering on that agenda, you get reelected. And for Helen, going from a time of just barely winning that first race to now, just several years later, she won more votes than had been won by any city council member in 30 years. She's passed legislation to win funding to guarantee clean water in schools. She's helped end a 17-year-long state takeover of Philly public schools and restored nurses and counselors and social workers to our schools. She's created an anti-eviction program that reduced evictions in the city of Philadelphia by 2/3. 2/3. She gets it. She knows what keeps us safe. I think it is fascinating in this moment that when we're having these conversations, especially about what's happening in our cities, the two biggest issues are housing and public safety. That is not a coincidence. Housing across the United States is surging. It's extortionate, the levels of rent and mortgages and the housing crisis, as our housing stock gets gobbled up by people who seek to profit off housing, not live in housing, right? And that surge and that profiteering and that greed leads to some of the highest homelessness levels that we are seeing in many parts of this country. It's not a mystery. The higher and more expensive housing gets, the higher and more widespread our housing crisis gets. It's as simple as that. But the same people who are profiting off of this profiteering are the same people who try to fund these campaigns to make sure that that profiteering continues. Helen is standing up to them right now, today. She has launched Philadelphia's first mental health crisis response units. Her public safety plan is focused on investing in wraparound programming so people are supported through the hardest times in their lives. And by the way, Helen is also running on a Green New Deal for public schools. But once again, they've got money, but we've got the people. I always say to my team back home, progressives win in a street fight. And that's what we've got here in Philly today, a street fight. We need to be knocking on every door, texting all our friends. We talk about youth organizing up, which means people need to call their tias, their tios, their uncles, their cousins, todo, everybody. And we have to really be organizing and bringing everyone to the polls. Everyone to the polls on Tuesday. And that, when we organize out and when we activate our networks, our families, our friends, everything, when we bring them to the polls on Tuesday, that is how we win. The next 72 hours or so, the next 48 to 72 hours are going to be what decides the results of this campaign. And that means every single minute, every time you have a spare moment, think about who you may not have contacted yet. Think about what network you can tap, who you can hit up to bring to vote on Tuesday. And once we do that, if we sign up for a phone banking shift, if we go knock some doors, if we hit up some friends and make sure everyone has a plan to vote on Tuesday, we will win. We will win. You all have already created the strongest ground game of any campaign here, and now it's time to bring it home. So with that, Philly, let's get this done, and it is my extraordinary honor to introduce your next mayor of Philadelphia, Helen Gym.
It's that bitch o'clock, yeah, it's thick 30. I've been through a lot, but I'm still flirty. Is everybody back up in the building? It's been a minute, tell me how you feeling. Cause I'm about to get into my feelings. How you feeling? How you feel right now? Oh, I've been so down and under pressure. I'm way too fine to be distressed, yeah. I'm not the girl I was or used to be. Bitch, I might be better. Turn up the music.
Philadelphia, are we fired up? I said, are we fired up? Are we ready to win? The eyes of the nation are on this city today because we are going to make history on Tuesday. First, I want to thank the amazing Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's quite a thing to have AOC be able to tell your history and your story, but this was not my story. This was all of ours. I want to hear it for today's amazing musical artist, DJ Cosmo Baker. I want to hear it for Speedy Ortiz and Neo Wolf. Philadelphia is a world-class music city, and we are going to make sure it thrives. This room is filled with people who built this campaign, and I couldn't be more humble and proud tonight for a campaign that has embraced the city like we had a heart big enough for the entire world. I want to shout out all of our great speakers. Thank you to Unite Here, APIPA, our friends at the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers and AFT, the Working Families Party, Reclaim, Make the Road, One Pennsylvania. That is Philadelphia. That is all of us, and that is the movement that is powering through on May 16th. And I am so honored that in a few short minutes we'll hear from an amazing political leader, as we heard from Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, two of the most inspiring political leaders and two of the fiercest fighters for working people and families in this nation. Again, Congresswoman Alexandria Cortez, and soon to come, Senator Bernie Sanders. So, you know, just 6 months ago, Senator Sanders came right here to Franklin Music Hall, rallying the city for the next midterm elections, which we won. And we are on here at this stage today because what we win in Philadelphia on Tuesday has a chance to change a nation. This is a city that is going to be on the rise to center housing as a human right, a quality public school for every child, the right to a union and new labor rights for working Philadelphians, public safety that is invested in investments and not incarceration. We're talking about a city that values the air we breathe and the water we drink, and a pro-trans, pro-immigrant rights for the people we can be, and all those whom we love. So it is no accident that we held this on Mother's Day, because it is the most important day of the year, speaking as a mom myself. And that is because mothers are the backbone of this campaign. Mothers are the backbone of justice movements in this city. And I want to take a special moment just for all those mothers and individuals out there, the moms, caregivers, and maternal figures who may no longer be with us, or for whom Mother's Day aches of pain and loss. We are going to hold you in our hearts tonight, and we will work for a safer and more just city for a new generation. I come out of these matriarchal movements. It was moms like Deborah Way and Ellen Somakawa who showed me how an immigrant city, how an immigrant community would save Chinatown from displacement, and damn it, they're going to do it again. It was moms like Kendra Brooks who put it all on the line to save her school from privatization. It was mothers like my friend and Unite Here members, Earlene Bly and Nicole Hunt, who helped win new labor rights and the strongest Fair Work Week protections in the nation. It was mothers like Nancy Wynn who fought tooth and nail against deportation and unjust detentions. And it was moms like Rashida Phillips and Jennifer Cates who built the most successful eviction prevention programs in the nation. Those are moms who fought like hell, and we never backed down when it came to those we love, to our children, our communities, and our future. And on this Mother's Day, on the cusp of this election, I come before you as someone who comes out of these movements, as a teacher, as an organizer, and a tough Philly mom who never backed down from some of Philadelphia's toughest fights. And now, I am proud to come before you as your candidate for the next mayor of Philadelphia. So my work started 3 decades ago as a school teacher in a 100-year-old building with 38 kids before me who had dreams bigger than you could imagine. Every afternoon, I take the 47 bus and ride it 10 miles into Chinatown, where I worked alongside Asian American and immigrant activists working to stop a community from being displaced. We beat back stadiums and casinos. We fought mass detention and deportation. We fought for our public schools and for our teachers and educators. And I learned one lesson. We get the city we fight for. And that's why I put my faith, I put my energy, and I place my life with communities all across Philadelphia. Because when the worst crises happened to us, I saw the least ideas, the least amount of courage from those who had the power, titles, and money to make change, and I saw the most power, the most possibility coming out of communities. We demanded. Our politics never started with politicians. They always started with us. We demanded a politics of courage and of transformation, not just a change in faces. And when I ran for city council, I promised to take all of you with me, and that someone who came out of the trenches was ready to deliver transformative wins. And we delivered. Now, we've heard all of those things, and I know a lot of it was said with my name, but I will never put myself first because I never would have won. We can all do the math. 1 out of 17 isn't the odds that we always want. But this room of 1,000, a city of 1.5 million demanding what we deserve, those are the odds we'll always win. The last two terms of being in office has shown just how much we can do, how fast we can move, and why we should never tolerate anything less. And that's why we are here in this moment, to get the city we not just deserve, but what we need right now more than ever. Other candidates are running for an office, and I'm running to change the way people actually live in this city. And with everything at stake right now, we've got work to do. This moment isn't about just one big election. It's about the Philadelphia that we'll live in for the next decade. It's about winning. It's about winning and building a Philadelphia where families will live in stable housing without ever being threatened with an eviction. It's about a Philadelphia where we clean and green our neighborhoods in vibrant parks and recreation centers, in 7-day-a-week libraries, for God's sakes. In our health centers and our public schools, and that we invest in them more than we ever would in a prison. It's about a Philadelphia over the next decade where our children actually go to public schools that are free from poisonous toxins and are flowing with the resources. Flowing with the resources that give our young people the potential to allow them to fulfill the potential we know they have and to create places of learning and joy and pride. And this is about a Philadelphia that invests in a real economy full of arts and music and opportunities, with a focus on small and local and black and brown and immigrant and diverse businesses, in an investment in neighborhoods and communities that don't extract but give back. That is the Philadelphia we're fighting for. This is the Philadelphia we've all believed in, even when they told us it was impossible to have. And that is why we have a chance to show them what we've got on Tuesday, May 16th. We're going to be fighting for a community safety agenda that ensures that everyone in Philadelphia is safe and feels safe, and that swiftly responds to violence and works to stop it from occurring in the first place. A mayor has to prevent crime, not just react to it. And we are going to deliver, as Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez said, a municipal Green New Deal for this city that takes on the climate crisis and environmental racism that has held too many communities back. We are going to fight for the Philadelphia where we all want to be, with clean streets, reliable public transit, affordable housing, and a real vision for what home means. So what are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? Because they're afraid of us. Look at this room. Look at this opportunity. Look at what we've built. Because the Philadelphia that they're afraid of is actually the Philadelphia that we deserve. The vision that they could never see, the vision that they always deny to us, is the vision that is coming home on Tuesday, May 16th. Throughout this campaign, so many people who always felt like they had the right to run this city called our ideas too radical, too complicated, and our dreams too big. And what I know is their ideas were far too small. They played it safe all their lives, sitting in elected offices, sitting in austerity politics and bureaucracies, or making money hand over fist, while we went out there and fought and built. And this is our time, and this is our moment. They tried to intimidate with a political establishment and billionaires that are flowing their coffers with money, but we have got the people. We have always faced the impossible with the belief that we can do so much more by leading an agenda that puts all of us first. Children, teachers, social workers, librarians, nurses, block captains, the people who are part of our neighborhoods, who love and give back and are putting all their energy into this campaign. So we are going to bring this race home on Tuesday. Because our movement and this city runs on joy and on faith, on possibility, and the knowledge that a better Philadelphia is just within our grasp. I've been delivering on that vision for more than 2 decades now. I am tried and true to the safe, stronger, more prosperous Philadelphia we all know is possible. I'm ready to lead as mayor. I'm ready to win with all of you with me. And I'm ready to get the city that we have fought for so long. And when but when we take office in January of 2024, we will be finishing the job that got started so many years ago, that brought us all into this space together, whether we knew one another or not, whether we believed that this would happen or not. The forces that have pulled us into this room together are the ones that are going to build the city and the Philadelphia of our future. We have already shown them something that nobody had ever seen before. And on January of 2024, we're going to build a Philadelphia that this country never saw coming. We are going to lead with our heart, and I'm here to tell you that in this room, everybody in this room has delivered. We delivered for a vision for our schools. We delivered for a vision of our homes and housing. We delivered for a vision for a real climate agenda. We delivered a vision for a diverse, immigrant-friendly, pro-trans, pro-non-binary, LGBTQ-friendly, out and proud, a loud and just and safe Philadelphia. And nothing is stopping us now. So I'm telling you that we have delivered. Thank you for everybody in this room. You have delivered already. You have delivered with your time, with your energy, and with your belief that we can build the city that we need. I never have believed that our politics would ever happen in the darkness. I've always believed that our power is won in the light. And now I want all of Philadelphia, all of this nation, to see all of us and what we're going to bring. It's time to get the Philadelphia we deserve. Let's fight for it on Tuesday, May 16th. And let's win it. And let's win it for years to come. Thank you, everybody. All right, so I am incredibly proud tonight to introduce our next speaker. You've known him, and he's come here before to rally the troops. He came here before in some of our darkest times, when Hahnemann Hospital was about to shut down. When a venture capitalist took one of the most important public serving hospitals in our city and drove it into the ground with their greed. A community stood up, but never alone. Senator Bernie Sanders stood up in that fight. He has centered a politics of health and well-being, of life and opportunity, and he is with us on this stage today to tell us that we are going to win on Tuesday, May 16th. That this city is going to have the investment of a Congress and a passionate view of what America is going to be. And I want you to put your hands together and welcome Senator Bernie Sanders!
Thank you, Philadelphia. You know, the last time I was in Philadelphia, and the last time I was on this very stage, you helped elect John Fetterman as your U.S. Senator. And I want to tell you, I just spoke to John the other day. He's doing great, and he is going to be an outstanding U.S. Senator. I want to thank all of you who are here. This is a great turnout. Love you too. And I want to thank all of you who have been knocking on doors, making phone calls, doing texting, jumping up and down on street corners. Thank you for what you are doing. And I'm here tonight to tell you what you already know, that I enthusiastically support Helen Gym as the next mayor of the city of Philadelphia. Helen has the background, she has the energy, and she has the spirit to not only be a great mayor for Philadelphia, but one of the great mayors in the United States of America. And as my colleague in D.C., Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has told you, the election results on Tuesday are going to come down to two words: election turnout, voter turnout. This is likely going to be a very close election. And if everybody here does nothing more, and I know you already have, but go out and bring two of your friends or family members or co-workers who otherwise would not have voted, if you do that, there is no doubt in my mind that Helen is the next mayor of Philadelphia. And I am delighted that so many young people are here this evening. You know, I am a strong believer in democracy, and I want everybody to vote. If you're 118 or you're 18, you come out and vote. But here is a political truth we don't talk enough about, and that is your generation, the younger generation in America today, is the most progressive generation in the history of America. You are the most anti-racist, the most anti-sexist, the most anti-homophobia, the most anti-xenophobia, the most pro-environment and pro-working class generation in the history of this country. Well, that worked very well. All right. So the good news is that your generation is leading this country in the fight for justice, and I thank you for that. But here is the not so good news, and that is your generation does not vote at a high enough level. We're making progress, but we've got to do better. And here is the truth. If your generation of younger people under 40 voted at the same percentage level as people over 65, we could transform this country and transform Philadelphia. So I say to the young people of Philadelphia, stand up, fight back, come out and vote on Tuesday. Let's do it. So why am I here this evening for Helen? And the answer is pretty simple. Helen's entire life has been about grassroots organizing. As you all know, sadly and tragically, there are people out there who are trying to divide us up by the color of our skin or our sexual orientation or where we came from. And Helen has spent her entire life doing exactly the opposite. What Helen has done and is doing is bringing us together, black and white and Latino, Asian American, Native American, gay and straight, young and old. All of us coming together in the fight for justice. And that is the kind of leadership America needs. It's the kind of leadership Philadelphia needs. And I'm here tonight because I see in Helen a kindred spirit. Helen understands that in America and in Philadelphia, there is something fundamentally wrong when so few have so much and so many have so little. And Helen knows that the only way we have ever in this country brought about the kinds of fundamental changes that we have. You know, it's not done from the top on down. It's from the bottom on up. It has always been when ordinary people, working people, look out around them and say, you know what? The system is not working for me. And when people come together and have the courage to stand up to the 1%, the courage to stand up to wealthy campaign contributors, and to say what Woody Guthrie said 50 years ago, this land belongs to all of us, not just a few. And what Helen knows, and you know, and I know, you know what the major obstacle we face is? That the establishment tries to get us to think small. They try to tell you, you know, why do you want to vote? Doesn't make a difference. Nothing is ever going to change. We control it all. We got the money. We got the power. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And we're here tonight to tell them, sorry, you got it wrong. Your time is running out. This country belongs to all of us, not just a few. We are sick and tired. We are sick and tired of the billionaires getting richer, of billionaires not paying their fair share of taxes, while 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, and millions are working for starvation wages. What Helen knows, what you know and I know, is that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, if we stand together, if we have the courage to take on powerful special interests, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. This is America. We must not continue having a child care system which is a total disaster. There are working moms out there right now who can't find a spot for their kid in child care. The cost of child care far too high, and the workers in child care earning starvation wages. Helen knows, and I know, that it is absolutely unacceptable, it is immoral that in America we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. And together here in Philadelphia, you're going to create a first-class child care system which respects children and their parents. And Helen understands that the backbone of a strong and vibrant democracy is a strong public school system. And she will stand up to the privatizers, make sure that our teachers are paid the decent salaries they deserve. Make sure that the schools in Philadelphia have the infrastructure that the children deserve. She wants to modernize every school in this city and give kids the latest technology they need in order to thrive. And Helen knows that the kids are not going to make it unless they have an opportunity for a good higher education, which is why she's going to work with me to make sure our community colleges, our public colleges and universities are tuition-free. I was just the other day in Atlanta, Georgia, at an HBCU university, Morehouse University. And I was there at their medical school. talking to medical students who were telling me what it means to them when they graduate medical school, $300,000 or $400,000 in debt. Well, you know what? We desperately need in this country more doctors. We need more nurses. We need more mental health counselors at every level. We need more great teachers. We need great workers to help us rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. And young people in this country, Helen knows this and I know it, should be able to get a higher education without leaving school in debt. And that our job right now is to cancel student debt in this country. And Helen knows that when we think big and not small, we understand that health care is a human right, not a privilege. In Philadelphia and in Burlington, Vermont, there are people who have no health insurance, who can't afford the prescription drugs their doctors prescribe. In our broken healthcare system, we're spending $13,000 for every man, woman, and child, twice what any other country is spending. What Helen knows, what you know and I know, that the function of a rational healthcare system is to provide quality, cost-effective care for all, not huge profits for the insurance companies and the drug companies. And as mayor of Philadelphia, I know that Helen will be working with Alexandria and me and others to transform our national priorities. We don't need to spend tens of billions of dollars more on the Pentagon. We need to build affordable housing. No, it's not Bernie. It's not Helen. You know who it is? It's you. And here is the big secret that the big money interests in the establishment doesn't tell you. And that is you and all the people of Philadelphia and working people all over this country, you are enormously powerful. You are powerful when you stand together and keep your eye on the prize. And what Helen understands, and I'm a former mayor and I understood it, is no mayor can do it alone. She needs your help. And if you think that after Tuesday, when she wins, the struggle is over, you are mistaken. She's going to need you on Wednesday and in the weeks and months and years to come. She is going to need you when she stands up to powerful special interests. She's going to need you when she goes to the state capitol fighting for changes and priorities. She's going to need you when she goes to Washington to change our national priorities. So here is the point. What a great mayor can do, and Helen will be that great mayor, is bring people together. You heard it before. Alexandria said it. Others said it. They got the money. We have the people. So what I am asking of you tonight is not just work as hard as you can in the next 2 days to help elect Helen. I'm asking you to do more than that. I'm asking you in the next 4 years to work at her side to transform this city. You can make Philadelphia a safer city in humane ways, which begin not only to deal with good law enforcement, which we need, but getting to the root causes of crime. You can help Helen deal with homelessness, to improve public schools, to improve health care. You can do all of those things. As Helen mentioned, the eyes of the country are on Philadelphia this week. And let us show the nation, let us show the world that working families are prepared to stand up and fight for a city which is based on justice, which supports the trade union movement and the right of workers to organize, which makes sure that economic development doesn't just make the rich richer, but provides decent wages and benefit for our workers. A city which understands that a moral society respects the little children, respects the kids, because they are the future of America. So there is a lot riding on the election results of this Tuesday. So let us, in the next 2 days, let's go out, let's knock on doors, let's get our friends to the polling booth. Let us elect Helen Gym as the next mayor of Philadelphia. Thank you all very much.